Hey everybody, I am Haley Gray and I've got today's guest with me. This is Kathleen Bulger. Welcome. So glad that you are here with me. Kathleen is one of our When Live speakers. And I don't know that that description really does her justice because we're going to talk about really energizing your body, engaging your brain, creativity, and really bringing you to life. So if you're on the live, give us a hashtag live. If you're on the replay, give us a hashtag replay and let us know that you are out there. Let us know what questions you have. So welcome, Kathleen.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here. I said to you before we started, the When Summit was so amazing and I learned so much. I wish I could watch it all again.
Awesome.
So yeah, it was great.
I'm so glad to hear that. And it's an honor. And our next one is actually scheduled for April 15th through the 17th. And the tickets should be going up shortly. Shortly is in, it depends on how long it takes Haley to finish publishing that page. Let's just be real here. So tell me a little bit about what it is that you do.
So by trade, I'm a registered holistic nutritional consultant. So originally how I started out was really talking to people about their wellness and how food really is our medicine for so many issues. And this all came to me from having my own health crisis. I was in a major horseback riding accident, lost a couple organs I was kind of attached to, but apparently you can live without. And then in 2012, I had a stroke and I lost my ability to speak and to read, and a lot of my verbal cues were missing. And to this day, I still have some effects. If I'm tired, my speech is delayed. And in 2014, I had a heart attack. But the common denominator in all of that is, even though I was pursuing medicine and chiropractic and massage, I still wasn't myself. So the more and more and more I studied and got into nutrition and herbology, the more I realized food can really help heal me in a big way.
Absolutely.
That was a huge, I sort of knew it all along because I started studying nutrition in the early days of all of that. But then you realize how much the more you know, the more you don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's interesting to me how food and nutrition is really medicine.
Absolutely. And most pharmaceutical medicines, all are derived from some form of a plant or a substance that's found that naturally occurs that we have modified to make it accessible, because we don't all live in countries where those things are available, and they're beneficial, but they should be married with good nutrition and the things that really feed your body.
Absolutely. And I have found that to be very true in my life. When I started changing my diet and my nutrition prior to having weight loss surgery, it made a big difference in how I felt pretty quickly.
And you would be a person who would understand this better than anybody else because of the surgery you've been through, because of the changes you had to go through to even qualify for the surgery. Well, I know that's the case in Canada. I'm sure it is.
It was here. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but life gets in the way and we don't always do all the things we're supposed to.
Of course.
So, yeah. That's just being human. So it really is just trying to find. And that's the thing with my approach, is that it's feeding your optimal being, not mine, not anybody else's, but you have to find what really works for you personally. As humans, we all have common denominators, but your physiology and mine is going to be very different. I'm missing a lot of organs. You've had surgeries. Everybody's very diverse, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, and I like that approach, particularly because in my case, I have had bariatric surgery. I am malabsorptive. It totally rerouted my digestive tract. And it's scary to me when I have people go, "Oh, I have this diet program. You should totally try it." And I'm like, "Do you know anything about the surgery that I had?" "Oh, we work with bariatric patients all the time." that didn't answer my question. Do you know anything about the particular surgery I had? Oh, well, we work with bariatric patients. And I'm like, that's, like comparing a lap band to, or a sleeve to a duodenal switch. It's a night and day type difference. You don't assume, that the nutrition is going to be the same. And then I'll make a comment that, well, the diet that you're trying to put me on, the recommendations you're making could kill me. And they're like, no, it can't. I'm like, yeah, check out. Here's a bunch of information for you. And they're just shocked. But they've been going around, making these wholesale recommendations to people without understanding it, without having that nutrition background. And they're blown away.
And I think that's where sometimes I lose people and sometimes I pick up people, because my goal is all about it being led by you. You need to inform me and tell me, because that's what I found doctors didn't do for me. They didn't ask me. Yeah. They have an assumption around you or your state of being. And I assume nothing. I want you to tell me. I want you to talk to me and tell me your whole perception of your being. What's it look like now? Where do you want to go? What's optimal look like to you? It's not size 7 to most of us over 50, unless you're, that's your goal. It can be, but our metabolism slows down, things change. We've had health crisis. We've had things happen. It looks very different for everybody.
Right. Yeah. And what success means to me may look very different from what success looks like to other people. And it always does. Success isn't the same exact thing for every single person.
That's true in everything. It's true in your business. It's true in your health. It's true in the family you want. It's true in everything. We're also individual, and we all need to be treated like individuals, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, that's really critical to me, because, no two businesses are the same. No two lives are the same. None of us have the exact same needs, wants, desires. And, that makes the one size fits all approach really inadequate.
Absolutely.
At best.
I don't want to say a victim of that, but I became a casualty of that by not being told more. I remember when I had my stroke and we were posted to Ottawa, Ontario at the time. And I went to a clinic and they're like, you need to take in artificial sweeteners and do all kinds of things. And the more I read on people who've had strokes and the people are missing some of the organs I'm missing that support digestion and immunity, that was the worst thing I could do. So it's very individual. And that's the key. Like I wrote a book called Feeding Your Optimal Being, not feeding the optimal being.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's important. So what place does creativity have in all of this?
So your optimal being is not just physical. I mean, and going back even to the nutrition piece. So what you eat, it's like saying, you should eat all this and you'll be healthy. Well, if you don't absorb it, then it's absolutely useless to you, Mm-hmm. The same is true with creativity. So you need to be able to, we all get blocks, mental blocks towards things. We get stuck in our business. We get stuck in problem solving. We get bogged down by life issues. But creativity helps you unlock blocks. It helps you go back to your child self and play and have fun and be in the moment and leave some of that behind. And I think that's so important. We don't do that enough, especially as busy entrepreneurs, adults, parents. It just gets lost.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what are your favorite forms of creativity? I'm curious.
Well, it's interesting because I'm one of those very eclectic people where I love it all. So I love to paint. That's huge to me, but I'm not an artist per se. I like abstract things where there's no determined outcome. It's just creation. It's getting your hands dirty. It's playing in paint. It's being with color. But on the flip side of that, I went away for a writing retreat. I just took myself to a cabin for 5 days when COVID was getting overwhelming, and my son and his wife and my grandson were living with me, and I didn't have any downtime. And I just stopped and bought a crochet hook and wool and crocheted a bag. I have never crocheted in my life, but I just took this inkling that I was going to figure out something new to challenge my brain. So creativity can look very different to everyone. My personal favorite is painting. And I've done it to get me through a lot of different things. And I'm going to show you, this is an easy way to show you a whole bunch of paintings at once. But I've created a deck of cards out of my paintings because they all capture an essence of time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And different people see and feel different things. I wish I could ask you to pick one.
Third from the bottom.
Third from the bottom. Oh, I love it. Oh.
Ooh, that's very pretty. It looks almost like an angel.
See, I love it. That's the best part about these cards. And that was kind of my goal with these, is I want people to tell me what they see. Again, it's not my interpretation, it's your interpretation. Even though I created this, I love taking people on the journey. And I did it in my last When Live of creating something like this. And I did it very quick and dirty so that people wouldn't be overwhelmed. Because so many people say to me, I'm not creative, I can't do this. And it's like, you don't get it. I did it in like a few minutes and amazing things come up. And I mean, everyone looks different because you can't intentionally create. It's done through a process of a quick grounding meditation, applying paint to paper, and folding it and just running things over it, from healing crystals to forks, knives, your fingernails, whatever you feel called to do.
And you don't even know what it's going to look like until you take it back apart.
You can't intentionally create it. You don't know what it's going to look like. But lots of times it gives you a feeling. Like this card gives you a very different feeling than this card would give you, you know?
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
So this is one of my favorites, but it's just
Ooh.
full of color. What do you see in there, Haley? I'd love to know.
I see the sun and flowers and a field.
Oh, I love it.
So what do you see in that one?
This one I actually called, if I can get it closer, I actually called it the Baboon King, because in the very center of it, I see a big baboon sitting there.
That's right. Yeah, it's almost like, yeah, it's kind of circusy.
It is kind of circusy, but it was just a day I was feeling really like I needed to add a little brightness and lightness into my day. And they only take a few minutes, but some of them I love so much I've had framed and I've had put into a deck of cards so that people can just have a shuffle through and just spend a few minutes looking at it, seeing what they see, how the colors make them feel, and connecting to their creative side. But my goal is really to get people to paint one and feel the paint on your fingers and just have fun like a kid.
Absolutely. I love that so much. I really do. I mean, to me, it's important to express your creativity in a way that makes sense to you. Back to that whole like individual thing. Are you doing crochet? I used to do crochet, needlepoint, quilting. Lately, it's been baking cinnamon rolls.
I wish we lived closer.
Yeah, that international border thing could be a little tricky with shipping them overnight.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, they tend expensive.
Yeah, and they tend to not really let a lot of food things pass.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Baked is probably not as much of a problem, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's creativity is as individual as nutrition. I think it's so important for people to do what speaks to them. I recently bought a leather carving kit. I've never done it before in my life, but I wanted to dabble in that because for me, it's all about, you don't have to do it forever, but if you find the thing that speaks to your soul and you try it and that's great and you feel good about it, then you've visited your inner child, you've had fun, you've gotten muddy, and there's no expected results. You're just having fun.
Yeah. So like, what are a couple of your top tips for people who come to you, they're tired, they're exhausted, they're frazzled, their joints hurt, and, they're just over the whole COVID thing?
That's pretty much everybody.
I think that would probably describe half the Earth's population right now.
It does. I think the biggest thing is so many people don't stop. And as hokey as it sounds to some people, you don't stop and listen to your own body and say, what am I missing? Am I rushing through my meals? Am I not sleeping well? Mm-hmm. Am I not doing enough for self-care? As simple as if you have achy joints, getting an Epsom salts bath with a few essential oils and light a candle and slow down and breathe. I mean, it costs as much as Epsom salts, a cup of Epsom salts. And here you can buy them at the feed store, a 50-pound bag for $30. And that lasts me a little while, you know?
Yeah, I would say a 50-pound bag of Epsom salts would pretty much last until the second coming at that point.
See? So, yeah.
I mean, unless, unless you're just, a little bit of water to your Epsom salts.
Yes. But little things, self-care is the key. Like lots of times I try and have a conversation with people and they have to get honest with themselves. They have to pay attention and go, you know what? You're right. This is what I'm not doing. And there's also, but I can't do that because, and it's like, let's unpack the but and see what that really means. Why can't you do that? Right?
I would love to do that, but.
Yes.
Okay. Let's get real here about time management. Do or do not, there is no try. And, that obviously comes from Yoda. But one of the things I have learned fundamentally about people is that we will always find time to do the things that are the most important to us.
And we have been taught a lot of times, not to generalize, but as women in particular, that we are not the most important thing to us.
Absolutely.
We're the care providers. You and I have that in common with a child with mental health. You're not the priority. Your children, your husband, your business,
everything else. And that's what we're prioritizing: our children, our husband, our business. Making money, putting food on the table, all gets prioritized over taking care of ourselves, when it's actually a very interesting form of sabotage in some ways, because we don't take care of ourselves. So there is no us to take care of all of the other stuff.
Absolutely. And that's what leads people like me to a health crisis. I had to learn that. And that's why I feel so exceptionally passionate about teaching other people this.
Yeah.
It's a lesson you don't want anyone else to learn, do you?
No, I mean, and I definitely landed in the emergency room more than once. And, a couple of different reasons, but it took a definite health crisis and realizing that, oh my God, and this didn't have to be anymore. And, it was scary. And no, I didn't have time to go out and lose 175 pounds. No, I did not have time to go to the gym twice a week. No, I didn't really have time to do anything, to eat better, to do whatever better. And yet I found ways to do meal planning. I found ways to get into the gym a couple of days a week, which obviously has been more challenging with COVID. I have found ways to make it happen, not because I'm doing less.
And I think that's really the key. It is reprioritizing things. And sometimes it's about delegating and letting someone else do something. And we don't have to do everything because we can do it. Just because I can do it faster doesn't mean I should do it.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
That's a really hard thing to wrap your head around, especially when there's other people where if I just do this and get it done. But then you're taking time you could be taking for self-care.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and to me, I mean, I had to learn that self-care and sleeping go on my calendar, and eating.
Yes.
And so if a client or my admin or my team asks me to meet during a meal time, I can't do it. I had to learn, especially with losing as much weight as I have, but also with the particular bariatric surgery that I had, not eating is not a thing, because it will kick you down onto the ground and knock you out if you're not eating. Which is why you guys see me eat a lot of times when I'm on camera, because I'm sitting here eating nuts, cashews, peanuts, more nuts.
Good fats for good energy to keep you going.
Protein.
Yes.
And fat and protein.
But you see, the thing is, if I wish I could high five you for doing that.
Thanks.
it's a hard thing for people to learn without hitting the wall.
Oh, and I hit the wall. I absolutely hit the wall.
And yes, I want to be one of those people who's there when you hit the wall and you're ready to pick back up and say, okay, I got to make a change. Because if you want me to drag it kicking and screaming, I'm not your girl, because you're not ready yet. Right. I will give you the information and tell you what you can do for yourself with my guidance, but I can't make you do anything. You have to be in a position where you really want to do it.
Yeah, no, for me, once I decided, I was done. And I was ready to make a change. You know, I had done everything else in the world. I'd tried every diet known to man, but until I fixed the head, and it's still not perfect, y'all. I still have weight to lose. I'm not a size 10, despite the fact that I look skinny from here up. I'm not. You know,
I love that.
I look skinny from here up, but no. Fat bottom girls make the world go round, right? And you know, but it's still, I mean, once I finally hit that place in my life and I hit rock bottom and realized that I had taken out the dynamite and started blowing, you know, holes in the rock and, you know, excavating tools just for good measure, because, you know, nothing like being hard-headed. You know, and I had to accept that I was the one out there with the excavation tools and the dynamite.
It's true. I mean, we truly are masters of our own destiny. And it's not, and people will say to me, diets don't work for me. I've tried keto, I've tried this, I've tried that. And I'm like, so let's look at everything you've tried and see what are we doing here? What didn't work, what did work, and work from there. Not everything works for everybody. And I don't think there's a particular diet per se. I'm not saying some don't work for some people. Absolutely they can. But I think there's you got to look at the person's physiology and you have to look at their mindset. That's why I always talk about your mental. I mean, I talk about meditation in my book, and I don't mean everybody's got to sit on the beach, you know, with their fingers like this saying Om, because it might be a walk through the forest. For some people, it might be a walk through Central Park, which would overwhelm some people, but it's their peace, you know, it's what they need. It's just being in the moment intentionally and being with your thoughts and being with your person. And meditation helps you slow your mind down and go, okay, I don't have to do this piece by myself. I need to ask somebody for help, which is another tough thing for people to do, is ask for help oftentimes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for me, it's driving and curled up in my chair under a pile of blankets.
Yeah, see? Yeah. Driving's great meditation because you are just, well, you're with your dog, I see.
Some of the time, yeah.
But you're alone with your thoughts. That's the goal.
Absolutely.
That's the goal. Find it where you need to find it, right? You have to start from where you're at. You're not going to go from super overwhelmingly busy to a yogi. It's just not going to happen for most people.
What?
I know.
Crazy thought. How would somebody go about finding you online?
I have a website, KathleenBulger.com. And there is links on the top of that page to courses. You can book a consultation. I know even in the face of COVID, I do much better with people one-on-one in person, because I want to get to know somebody. I want to get to know what feeds their soul. I want to know what they've been through before, because all of that informs where you're going. You have to leave your past behind you, just like the Lion King says, but it still informs where you're going with your future. Learn those lessons, take them with you, find what works, what doesn't work, and embrace the things you need. And sometimes it is visiting your fear, feeling the fear, and asking someone to help you or do it or say. For me, technology, my nerves, they're shot. Moving from in person to doing more things online was very challenging for me, because one of the challenges of having had a stroke is learning new skills. So I have to learn them step by step, repetitively, and usually in person. I need someone to be sitting at the keyboard saying, do this, do this, do this, and I don't have that luxury right now.
Right. And you have to imprint it on your brain and then do it a few more times.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Totally. This has been awesome. Thank you for joining me this afternoon.
I am so grateful to be a part of this community, and I've learned so much from watching other people. And it makes you feel less alone in business when we're in such a distant world right now, that I'm super grateful for the opportunity.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. This is
Thank
delightful.
you.
Thanks, guys.